Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We're doing something a little different today. I had some questions, I should say, about basic tools. Well, what do you use? What do I need? Basic tools to work on my own guitar at home, set it up when I'm restringing it. Okay, valid question. We're going to try to address that today. Let's get to work. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. So the question specifically was, what basic tools do I need to set up my guitar? The short answer is there's no such thing as basic tools. Minimum requirement tools to do setup on your guitar. Okay, I'll bite. So what we're going to start with is a small array of tools. First thing you're going to need is a flat surface and a mat, something that doesn't move around a lot and your guitar can sit on. Try to have it at belt length, a table, something you can set it on, kitchen table, dining room table. I don't care where you're doing it. Don't try to do it standing up on a guitar stand or on your bed. You need it to be on a stable surface, okay? You're going to need a neck stand. Music Nomad, I use them a lot. I've been using this one forever. I have some homemade ones that I had from way back when, a dozen years ago. I still have them. I won't let go of them because I built them for myself when I was starting to do what I hopefully am going to teach you to do. You need a neck stand. You're going to need a capo, a 12 thousandths feeler gauge. You're going to need a string height gauge tool. You're going to need an 18 and a 20 thousandths feeler gauge. You're going to need, these little feeler gauges are very specific. You can find them online, but this is to check your pickup height. So they're basically pickup height tools. That's what they're called. You can find them anywhere. You're going to need a tuner. I don't care if you use a clip-on tuner or a plug-in tuner, whatever it may be. But you're going to need a tuner. You're going to need a good flathead and a good Phillips head screwdriver. I'm just using small ones here for illustration purposes. Of course, I have a whole set. You're going to need Allen wrenches, usually one to do the truss rod adjustment and one to do saddle adjustment. These are just regular, just for illustration purposes. Sometimes you're going to need for truss rod adjustment, which would be the bigger Allen wrencher. Sometimes you need a socket, but your guitar usually will come with these three tools right here. One for the truss rod, or truss rod, and one for the saddle adjustment. So you're going to get usually these tools. One will be for, again, truss rod adjustment and saddle height. When you buy a guitar and there's a little packet of tools in there, don't throw them away. Sometimes it'll be a socket like this with a little wrench on it. So don't get rid of them. Don't go, what is this for? That's what it's for. So when I make an adjustment or get a guitar on the bench, and the first thing I look at is, okay, what is this guitar? Always the first thing I check, before we do any adjustments, all you're doing is checking. A capo. You capo at the first fret, and you use the 12 thousandths feeler gauge to check at the 7th and or 8th fret. What you're checking for there is neck relief. Okay? If you don't know where you're starting, you're not going to be able to finish in the place where you want to be, which is having your guitar set up properly. There are 5 adjustments in every setup that have to be done in order. Neck relief or truss rod adjustment can affect string height, but string height cannot change or affect neck relief or truss rod adjustment. Keep that in mind. That's why this is always number one. because it can affect other adjustment. String height. Nut first fret action. How high is your nut slot at the first fret up by the headstock? 18 to 20 thousandths feeler gauge. You're going to need those. You check at the first fret, right on the fret, and you pluck your open string, and it should just buzz on between 18 and 20 thousandths. Why do I want to have a 19 on there? Because guitars like to be a little bit lower, basses like to be a little bit taller. So depending on what I'm working on, that's why I say between 18 and 20. Pickup height, that's usually the last thing I do, and it's always the most overlooked adjustment by most guitar technicians or luthiers. They don't check the pickup height, and it's important. There's a measurement for it. 3/32 on the bass side and 1/8 on the treble side. So simple, basic. Screwdrivers. After you get done with this, and you make sure that that's good. Neck relief, string height, first fret action. Remember, we're just checking adjustments. You're going to check your intonation, and your intonation is the back of the guitar over here where the saddle is, right? Very, very standard stuff. You check at the 12th fret. Now, some people will tell you check at the 5th, check at the 12th, check at the 17th. For purposes of our discussion, we check at the 12th. I defy anyone to be able to tell the difference between the 17th, 12th, and 5th. Always get to the middle, the 12th fret. You pluck the open string, E, low E. You check your harmonic, E. And then you hold at the 12th fret. Should be E. Right? If it's flat, that means the distance between your saddle and your nut, where those strings ride over those points, is too long. It's too wide. Okay? If it's sharp, that means the distance between your saddle and your nut, where that string rides over those 2 points, is too short. And how do you adjust that? On the saddle adjustment. Either making it longer or shorter. You follow? Now, there's no such thing as a basic tool set, but if you stay to this minimum requirement set, you should be able to, every time you restring your guitar, check these adjustments. Does it have to be checked every time? No. I do that, and I do it on every customer's guitar. But if you get in the habit of doing that, your instrument will always be adjusted properly. And it only takes a few minutes. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Are these the only tools you will ever need? No. That's why I say there's no such thing as a basic set of tools. There's no such thing as a basic set of tools for anything. I don't care if you're fixing typewriters, guitars, or cars. So keep that in mind. For intonation, change your strings. If you have a Fender, for example, with a floating tremolo, you're not going to be able to just check this stuff out, because when you pull those strings off, you're going to change your neck relief. You're going to lose all your neck tension. You're going to have to know how to set up that trem. That being said, if you do it one string at a time, you might get lucky. If you got a Floyd Rose, forget it. You're going to have to get it to somebody who knows what they're doing, or you're going to really have to learn how to do it and pay attention. There's a lot of other tools in my arsenal. I mean, I have drawers and drawers and drawers of tools. And, I have tools for checking radius on the neck. I have tools for cleaning frets. I have tools for erasing goop off the frets. I have tools for stringing instruments because I do so many of them. I have tools for adjusting neck relief and string height that these tools won't cover. Picks, small picks, you never know what you're going to need. Drill bits, if you're fixing and repairing, sanding of a body ding or something, and you're trying to fill it in, you're going to need different kind of sandpaper, and yeah, the list goes on and on and on. So there's no such thing as a basic set of tools. Minimum requirement tools to do a restring and a setup, that's what I would consider this. I had a lot of questions on it, and do them in order. Now, this is part one. I'm just showing you the tools. Okay, neck relief. Capo at the first fret, hold at the body joint, check 12 thousandths at the 7th fret. We're going to go over that again in another video. String height, and do them in this order. Again, I'm repeating myself. Check your string height. Top of the fret to the bottom of the string. I use 64ths of an inch because they're the smallest increments and are going to get you more precise adjustments. Okay. First fret, action, nut, slot, height, string, nut, slot, call it whatever you want. You got to check that. Okay. You got to check your pickup height. And you're going to check your intonation. Okay. It's never as easy as it seems. And the different tools you're going to need. You're going to need these to check this. You have to do this before you do this. You have to do things in order. And sometimes you have to go back after you make an adjustment. You have to go back and go, oh, something isn't working right there. Start over. Check your neck relief. Then check your string height. And it's a repetitive process. So I hope I've been helpful in describing the tools that you might need. Minimum requirement tools to do a setup if you're restringing your instrument at home. Okay? It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. I know this is kind of an overview, but we're going to put a guitar on the bench in the next video and use these tools and describe in depth how we use them and why we use them in the order that we do. So we'll talk soon. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. We'll talk soon.